The CS65's internal hard drive is designed to be user replaceable, and this video will give you the information you need to choose a replacement drive and install it correctly. Let's start with a look at choosing a replacement drive. The CS65 is compatible with virtually all drives that support the USB 2.0 standard. That includes thumb drives, USB 2.0 hard drives, and USB 3.0 hard drives, which is what's installed in the CS65. When choosing a storage device, you need to consider three things. First, it needs to fit inside the case. It can be larger or smaller than the factory hard drive as long as it doesn't exceed the maximum dimensions. The second thing you need to consider is the type and location of its USB connector. You'll want a drive with the connector on the rear and not on the side. And if you choose a drive with a USB 3.0 connector, you can reuse the factory supplied cable, which will save you some time. If you're using a drive with a different connector, you'll need to have the cable that came with it. Finally, the drive's temperature rating should be suited to your working environment. To replace the drive, you'll need number 1 and number 2 Phillips screwdrivers and snips if you need to swap out the factory installed USB cable. You'll also need a small zip tie and high-quality tape that can maintain its adhesion for an extended period over the temperature range you'll be working in. If your replacement drive is smaller than the factory installed drive, you'll need a piece of foam to hold the drive in place. Leftover product packaging will work, or you can cut a piece of sponge to fit. Before replacing the hard drive, you'll want to make sure that your CS65 is running the latest software to ensure optimal performance and access to the latest features. The HQ software that came with your CS65 will automatically check for updates, so be sure to install it if you haven't already. We're ready to replace the drive, so let's get started. The drive is located under the kickstand cover. We'll need to completely remove the screws in order to slide the cover off. Once the screws are out, the cover slides over and up. Before pulling the drive out, take a look at the factory installed drive and USB cable. The drive is held in place with foam along each side and with a piece of foam on the kickstand cover. The cable is secured to the drive with a high-quality tape, and the cable is captured under its keeper. This configuration eliminates excessive movement so that the connections don't loosen over time. If the cable comes loose from the CS65 or from the hard drive, you could lose inspection data. So when replacing the drive, be sure that the cable and all the connection points are well secured. Next, we'll pull the hard drive out and remove the tape that secures the USB cable to the drive. When we get the tape off, we can unplug the cable. Our replacement drive has a USB 3.0 connector, so we can reuse the factory cable. If your drive doesn't have a USB 3.0 connector, you'll need to remove the factory cable and install a new one, and this is covered in the manual. Next, we'll secure the connector to the drive with a bit of tape. Again, you want to use a high-quality tape that's rated for the temperatures you'll be working in. Now we'll slide the drive into the case as far as it will go and push it toward the handle. Our new drive is smaller than the factory drive, so we'll use a piece of foam to help hold it in place. With our parts secure, we can replace the kickstand cover. We'll make sure the gasket is in place and then slide the cover over and down. The screws used to attach the cover to the case are self-threading, so you'll want to back thread them before tightening. This will keep the screws from cutting new threads into the case. Our drive is installed, so we'll power on the unit. When the system boots up, it will prompt us to format the drive. The CS65 can use the new drive's pre-installed file system, but allowing the unit to format the drive with its server-grade file system will give you better performance and help guard against data loss. If your unit doesn't prompt you to format the drive, there could be a couple of things going on. Formatting erases the drive, so the CS65 will not prompt you to format a drive with jobs already on it. You may also be running an older version of software, and you'll want to install the latest software. In the meantime, you can format the drive manually, and this is covered in the user manual. After formatting, we'll select OK, and then the CS65 will prompt us to reboot. When the CS65 reboots, our hard drive is ready to go.